check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check. Let's do. Yeah, Mic's hot. I'll be starting here in a short second. The audio is routed really crazily. It goes from my MKH50 into the Rodecaster Pro 2, but that won't work with the Yolobox. So it goes in from the Procaster 2 to the Scarlett 2i2 and then into the Yolobox. So welcome. Let me see if I can press the right button here. Thank heavens for little cameras with auto tracking so it can keep me in the frame. Curtis will be here shortly, I think. I think he was going to grab a bite to eat, which I said was fine. I just wanted to get the stream going so people have a place to go to. I have chat open. Yeah. Intro music may come by version 3 or 4. I'm happy if I can remember how to switch everything. I've only had the Yolobox Ultra for a week and a half, thanks to Mark Holloway, who helped me do a test yesterday. I wonder where it puts it up there, I see, but it doesn't let me pick where to put it. It puts it way up top. I know that's adjustable. Ooh, there's a button right there. Username, username, username. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Ah! Figured that out. Well, let me move it because it's now covering me up. This is called live, right? So, no, I can't go any further over. Color, yep. Font, fine. Background color, I guess that's okay. Yeah, it's an also. I start with Aaron Parecki at 11 my time, Central Time. Then I take he's usually an hour and a half, then 30 minutes, eat a lunch, then come to Curtis Judd, and now to this live stream. And I'm open to changing the time. FYI, there is a Facebook group page because it's free and simple already more on Facebook. So it's free and simple and easy to use. I'm open to going live whenever. Managed to being retired. I don't really have, other than doctor appointments and when you get old, I don't have a lot of commitments right now. No, I'm not going to eat tacos in front of everybody and make them hungry. I mean, that would just be rude. So how's the quality? Does it look okay on your end? I mean, I'm looking at a monitor and the camera views. They seem fine. And there's a delay of about 15 seconds from when I say it to when it goes out live. Oh, Curtis is here. Well, are you there? No sound. Oh, I got to turn that on. Hold on. Guest one.
Guest.
Yes, you're there.
I'm here? Okay. This is we're working out the technology live stream coming at you straight out of Nashville today.
It's
Did I
simple.
get that right?
Yes.
Good. Okay.
Hold on.
So
Trying to one thing real quick.
I have not pulled up the live stream, so I can't see the chat. So I'm gonna pull that up here. Do we
How's
have
that?
some people? Let's see. There we go. I look a little pixelated on my side, but hopefully that's working okay on your side.
It's pixelated on my side too. But I don't have any control over that. When you came in, did you select high def?
Let me check. I got my settings here. Camera, 1080p is what I selected.
Well, I'm not looking at the live stream. I'm looking at what's on my screen. It's really pixelated. But
Okay.
to be fair, I'm on Comcast, which has great download and terrible upload. So, and there's a
Camera,
terrible
1080p.
delay in the headphones. So I have to take them off or I can't
Okay.
talk. It's so bad.
Interesting. Yeah, I am. When I pull up the live stream, I am looking very pixelated on the live stream as well.
Well, we'll just go with it. And as they say, if the audio is good, people will put up with bad video, right?
And this is bad video, I will say. Hopefully the audio is okay.
Well, as I have no control
Hopefully.
over it, there's not much I can do from my end, I don't think. There's no setting for that.
Yeah, same here.
There's an audio setting where I can add gain and that kind of stuff. But there's nothing for video quality.
Okay, well, let's just maybe you could make my windows small, and then people don't have to look at this pixelated mess, or we could just talk. Doesn't even matter, right?
Podcasts are much easier, trust me. I've done podcasts for 3
Yes.
years, and nobody has to see this ugly
Yeah.
face. So that's why
Or
I
this.
generally prefer audio only. But what mic are you using? You using your Earthworks?
Yes, today is the Earthworks Ethos into the Mackie DLZ Creator XS, the small one, and then that's feeding out into my camera, and then the audio gets combined there, and then comes to you through a captured.
I'm on the MKH50, and it's really crazy. It's going into the Procaster 2, but you can't run the Procaster 2 into the Yolobox. So I'm going into a Scarlett 2i2 to whatever it does. It makes so the Yolobox can get the USB feed.
That's weird. But I mean, so I thought that Yolo was making the Rodecaster compatible with the Yolo boxes, but maybe
They've
not
got
there
it
yet.
for the Pro. They haven't got it for the
Okay.
Ultra yet. It's coming in a firmware at some point in time.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Because I tried the Stream
Well-
and I tried the Pro, so I don't have a duo to try. So
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
other than
Well, that'll
that,
be a nice setup.
it seems to all be working. I need to go to the chat button. Yeah, see, here we go. Chat button. I just shut my eyes and put my head down on the desk.
Do you think I should try disconnecting and reconnecting, making sure that my settings, maybe that'll help us here.
Well, Mark and me tested, and he was a little bit pixelated yesterday too. So I will.
Okay.
I'm just going to go with it, and then we will.
Okay.
As I said, I know it's pixelated, but it doesn't. I've watched worse videos out of Africa because they're on cell connections. As long as the audio is good, which it seems to be good, then I can deal with it as far as I'm concerned.
Oh,
but
all good then. Here we go. Let's do it.
So
I see some.
One thing, I have a button to press for something I wanted to get up. Boom. So how long ago was this picture?
Emma took that photo. I don't know. I need a new one. That's no doubt. It was probably 8 years ago. That's my guess. Yeah, probably 8 years ago.
Yeah, I keep mine old because the gray and the face is not going to improve. So.
I think that's true for all of us, Matt. That's not just you.
Some people don't age. I mean, I did some work for American Bandstand. What's the guy?
Dick, is that Dick Clark?
Yeah, Dick
No,
Clark.
Dick. Okay.
I think I first met him in his 30s.
Mm-hmm.
I know I did work for him in his 40s, 50s, and 60s. And the guy never aged until he had his heart attack.
Wow. How did he do that?
I know, he's a great guy to work
mixing.
with. I mean, he had no ego. He told you what he wanted. You delivered somewhere close to what he wanted. He was happy with it. He was a really nice guy. I mean,
Was this on American Bandstand or something else?
oh, he has a production company. And so
Okay. Okay.
I come in. I remember I was his go-to guy when people got sick because I'm a jack of all, master of none. I mean, though I'm audio mixer is probably my strength by far. But I can run a camera. I can do lights as long as somebody's already got them set up, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Got it.
So
Cool. That's cool.
The second question is, I know you as Curtis Judd, but your daughter calls you Kuju?
That's my hip hop name, she tells me.
Oh, hip hop.
Yeah,
So you're going to be like Ben
name.
Shapiro and release a hip hop album?
I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe someone else does, but I don't see it happening. Well, I think it's just a fun way to. It's actually something that one of my coworkers came up with. We were joking around. We did some business travel together, and just for fun, when we were bored on a really long flight to Sao Paulo, Brazil, we decided to give each other hip hop names, and his name was Maha, Matt Hansen, and mine ended up being Kuchu for Curtis Judd. So you just take the first consonant and the first vowel, and then same thing for the last name, and that's your hip hop name. That's one way to do it, evidently. So
Okay, my nickname in college was Rat because I had generally a messy place.
Okay. Does that carry over to today? Is your studio there tidy?
You want to see? I'm
Well, let's see.
shameless.
Yeah. Maybe we should make your window bigger here. Can you do that?
I can go to. I have a camera feed for the iPhone.
Oh, there
So
you go. Yeah. Okay.
it is not clean.
got-
If you can
Got the coffee.
go to
got,
lesser lens. Hold on. Lens 77. No, that's the wrong way. There we go. That's the wide
There we
angle
go.
lens.
There we go. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Is that a curved desk that kind of fits around you?
Sorry, I had headphones
That's
on.
pretty.
What'd you say?
Oh, is that a curved desk?
Yes, it's a console
Oh,
desk. They don't make them anymore. It's great.
it looks great. Yeah. I'm
It's
feeling slightly envious and very happy for you at the same time.
it's a great desk. The shelf here is goes up and down, and it can fit two
Good.
keyboards because I generally have my main computer here, which is basically just my M2 Mac Air, but I have a
Hmm.
video editing computer that's not even connected to internet. It's just local area network because
Got
I'm
it.
worried
Okay.
about security. And that's
Got it.
going
Yep.
away probably. It's the maxed out Intel Xeon, with it's got I mean it still works great, but they're going to get rid of Intel. So when that happens, I've got to get rid of it anyway. So
Yeah, I
but
hear that. Yeah.
and of course you've seen the curtains are just covering up my racks and
Just
everything else. So
to give, give you some privacy and clean the look up really quickly there. That's good.
yeah. So
That's good. If it works, it works. That's what I say.
I need to switch set up. The great thing about this Yolobox, I will say, is the ability to do really quick side by sides. You just pick the two cameras
Hmm.
you want, and then you hit done, and then you want a picture behind them, you can, and then you say done, and then boom, it's there.
There we go. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Um, so if you have questions, please throw them in. We're kind of I want to go through your history. I mean, I know from your bio you were into photography in college, and that's the
Yep.
last part I remember the bio.
Okay. So, well, let's see. So in college, I was into photography. And then, um, not too long after Danny and I got married, I had a Minolta X700 film camera, 35 millimeter film camera. And I loved doing nature photography, especially. And eventually that broke, and we didn't have any money when we first got married, so I couldn't afford to fix it. This was probably after we'd been married about a year and a half. Some mechanical failure with the camera. I couldn't afford to fix it. And then, oh, let's see. Then digital cameras made their way out, and I went, whoa, I want to try digital. And I think we got a little Epson. Epson made digital cameras at one point. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but they actually did. So we got a little digital Epson point and shoot kind of camera, which was what I played around with for a few more years after that. When Emma was born, we got her this little, it's like a, I don't know, I remember some toy company made this little video camera and you could record like 2 minutes of video on it. And that was it. And she and I made all sorts of fun little family video kind of things. Then after that, my younger brother, who is a musician, he would he would go into the studio and his first album was done and it was really expensive. He had to pay for all of the studio time and the engineering time. And I actually, for his first band when he was still a teenager, he and his friends were too young to drive. The band couldn't drive because they were only like 14 or 15 years old. So it was my job to drive them. So we loaded everything up into the Judd family van, and we took the band, which the band's name was Lloyd's Garage, because the drummer's dad was named Lloyd, and they always practiced in Lloyd's Garage. So that was the name of the band. They're actually pretty decent. I was surprised. I mean, for 14-year-old kids, they were making some pretty impressive music. So that was my first experience in a recording studio. We went to some recording studio over in Simi, California, and it was a dive. It was, you walk down the hallway to walk into the control room and the recording space, and there were all this just trash lining the hallway. But that's where they had to record because that's what they could afford. And when we got there, the engineer was working on his own album. It was tape at the time. I think it was 16 track tape. So this would have been in, by the way, this would have been like in the late 80s. So anyway, he was doing some overdubbing, running through, rewinding the tape, playing it again, and then doing a couple guitar place pieces to, to overlay, to re-record over that overdub that particular part. Anyway, that was my first experience in a recording studio, and I was fascinated by that. And then later, my brother Kerry started his own music act. He had graduated from high school. All the other kids were done with high school, and they'd all moved on. So he started his own thing, and he eventually bought his own Pro Tools rig with a FireWire audio interface. This was fancy for the time. It was a Digi's 003 interface. I think it had like 8 inputs or something. And when he bought it, he had to buy it down here in Salt Lake. He was living up in some very small town somewhere. I don't remember at the time. I think in Idaho somewhere. But anyway, he ordered it down here and in Salt Lake and had to come pick it up. So he came, picked it up here, and then spent the night here. And we got to unload everything. So he had his Digi 03. He had his Universal Audio 610 preamp. He had a Neumann TLM 103 condenser microphone. And that was the first time I ever got to use something like that, like hands-on, and it was absolutely amazing. And then I did some roadie work for him. So we would hop into his Subaru, pile everything in, guitar amps, mixers, pedal board. He had a little PA system for the smaller venues. So I was his roadie for a couple of legs of the tour, which was a lot of fun and very instructive, a lot of learning. And then when DSLR, so in the meantime, I got a DSLR, which was cool. But when the first DSLRs came out, they didn't do video. It was just still images. So I eventually got a Canon 60D, which also recorded video. And that was the big moment when I got to bring sound and video together for me. So that was probably 2012. I think it was 2012.
So
and,
no camcorder?
No. Well, I did have a camcorder, but it was always so disappointing. The image, it was not a good camcorder. It was a Sanyo something or other. Sanyo doesn't even exist anymore. I think Panasonic bought them and basically shut down. I think Panasonic bought them for the Eneloop battery technology and shut everything else down, basically. Because the Eneloop batteries were pretty, that was a big thing. And Panasonic is huge in batteries now. But anyway, I actually, before that, I take that back. Before that, I actually uploaded my very first video to YouTube in 2009. And it wasn't actually a video. It was literally just a still image of a Shure SM58 and a Electro Voice. I don't remember the name of their handheld dynamic mic. I think it's a 767 or I don't remember what it is. But I recorded a little, at this point I had bought my own Focusrite channel strip and a Roland USB audio interface. And I had a couple of these, I had these mics. I had an SM58 and I had an Electro Voice. And it was a comparison of those two handheld mics. So I did some voiceover and I just put the picture of that microphone on the screen when I was talking through that microphone. That was my first video. And then in 2012, I got the Canon and started working in video. So what I found very quickly is that there are a ton of channels on YouTube, even back then, that were focused on video. I mean, that was the Canon 5D revolution time. Everyone was like, oh, now I can make this beautiful video with a camera that costs less than $20,000 and looks better than a camcorder. So there was this kind of whole indie film revolution at that point. And at that point, I was like, you know what? Maybe it makes more sense for me to focus on the thing that I love more anyway, which is the sound part of the equation. And so since then, I've kind of tailored my channel more towards sound and a little bit towards lighting as well. I think the funny thing is, from my perspective, for photography and for video, a lot of people would be better off if they spent more time figuring out their lighting than they did obsessing over which camera to buy. So Not that you can tell that from my image on this live stream right now, but
Sorry about that.
but anyway, no, it's all good. But it was that's kind of that's the short version of how we got here today, I guess.
Especially today, the any
Today,
Sony, Panasonic, any of those cameras are great.
yeah.
It's all about
Yeah,
lighting and sound now.
It's about lighting, sound. I think it makes a big difference if you understand and can use your whatever particular model of camera you choose. I think you can make great images out of any of them. You just have to figure out how to operate that particular camera, and then get your sound and get your lighting right, and then you can do amazing things.
And learn to use the editor.
Well, yeah, that too. I learned how to
This
do
old dog
post-processing.
new trick bit drives me crazy because I had a homeschool curriculum company.
Mm-hmm.
And I had them all on PCs because I could build a PC so much cheaper than a Mac. I mean, I could literally build 2 PCs for the price of one Mac. And so back then I had a video editing computer. That was the new one. The audio editing computer became the old video editing computer. And then the DVDs were made on a separate program in the Vegas suite. So that was a third computer. And then the duplicators, I had the CD and DVD duplicators themselves, and those all ran on computers. But because of KVM switches and the fact that in PC world you can remote into a PC piece of cake, it's I mean, at one time I had 12 computers in my office. Not this office.
Unreal.
This is our
Wow.
condo that we retired to after raising 4 kids, and we downsized because neither one of us wanted to mess with 5,000 square feet.
Good call.
But
Good
you know,
call.
my
Keep it
office
simple.
is just my office, and this is my first attempt at doing anything. I like live streaming, and the reason I like live streaming, I learned more from Aaron Parecki's live stream, your live stream, than I've learned from watching anything besides paid courses. I mean, because we consulted a little bit before I bought my Mix Free, and I took your course, and it was great. I learned how to use the Mix Free, and so that was great. But as far as anything else, the live streams, you get to answer questions, and you don't get that, in a pre-recorded piece. So that's kind of what I kind of ventured into. At this point in my world, I just want to help people out. I'm really not I don't need to make money. I'm retired and I say I have enough to live on. The prices of things are going to, who knows?
Hopefully. Hopefully.
So
Yeah. So what are the things that? Oh, go ahead. It's
No, go
not my
ahead.
live stream. I'm not the interviewer.
no, but go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I'm curious what you find. So I imagine people come to you for help with sound, and what are the things that they usually are needing? Like, what are the things that they don't really understand of sound that you either advise them on or you fill that role for them? What are those things?
My specialty was live sound, and in live sound, I took a career change around the turn of the century. I was in printing, the third biggest printer in the world. So I was U.S. Director of Technologies for the third biggest printer in the world. And we had 57 plants in the U.S. And we're not talking little mom and pop shops. The plant up in Clarksville, which is about an hour's drive, was Sports Illustrated and Time Magazine. It had 2 what's called Sunny presses, 50,000 impressions an hour, and 8 M1000 webs, which were about 30,000 impressions an hour. We could go through 8 boxcars of paper a day. I mean, just huge presses. We purchased $800 million worth of ink a year. This is mind-blowing.
Unreal.
But I was in charge of the pre-press area because, again, my background was nobody knows what a digital chromacom is anymore. But before the Mac existed, I mean, again, I'm old enough. I was around. I met Steve Jobs when the Mac came out. I know Bill Gates he used to come to the Houston. I lived in Houston at the time. He used to come to the Houston PC users group meeting probably once a year. I mean, and you could walk down and talk to him. It wasn't that big a group. So again, age. But a Chromacom was this old computer with the disc packs you would see in the War Games movie with Matthew Broderick. You know, you put the big old thing into canister. Those things were. I have one. I don't have it. I have it in storage. They're like 12 inches around and 250 megabytes formatted is all they are. You could tie 4 of them together, and so you could work on a 1 gig file basically. But yeah, I learned to run one of those and manage one of those, and that was my specialty. And then I got into running pre-press shop. I was always in management generally after that point in time. But anyway, I made a huge change when the church, my sister church that I was going to, they were building a new building and needed a serious tech. See, I also knew IT. I was Microsoft certified systems engineer. And so I became the church director of technologies and systems because I did all the 3 servers, the church management software, the Exchange server, the file server, all that was under me, plus the audio and video. See, but we built a building, a $17.5 million new church building, and they needed somebody to handle that, and I was the guy. And it was supposed to be an 18th month job. The Quebecor, the company I worked for, they went out of business, but they paid me my severance package that was in my contract before that happened. And so I had basically 18 months of pay in the bank. So I could work for the church for just benefits and a small salary. Mm-hmm. And then those that know me know I'm a character. I like acting up. I like doing funny things. And so I was generally getting in trouble at the church for various things. And I got called to the corner office, senior pastors, and I walk in. And my first thought's, oh no, the senior pastor, the executive pastor, my elder, and the human resources director were there. That's never good, okay? But basically, they wanted me to stay around. They didn't want me to leave. And so I ended up staying for 7 years. But after that, I went into consulting, and I did what I'm really gifted at walking into and seeing the problems and fixing problems. And so then I retired first just before COVID hit. But then when COVID hit, I had a consulting company. I grew it. I had a huge contract with one of the big labels in town, and we did all their stars, which are some of the biggest names in country music. I won't mention names because I'm not legally allowed to anymore. But suddenly the guys, I created small companies for them to take over when I left. And then COVID hit, and they didn't know anything about video. All they knew is sound tech type stuff. And so I kind of jumped in to help them out because we had to set up live streams in Brad Paisley's house, and all these people needed to be able to talk to people from their house. And so I got into, designing YouTube studios and that kind of stuff. And because I take a very simplistic approach. Every YouTuber I know has the big ones. I'm talking about Curtis Judd or Geraldine Dunn or that caliber. Okay, they all have $2,500 and up cameras, right? I mean, your camera is really nice because that wasn't its original design.
Yeah, it was a mistake. Yes.
Yeah. I bought about that time is when the ZV E10 came out. APC, great camera, does everything you need, and the autofocus is flawless. I mean, the camera I'm using right now is the ZV-1, which is a little bitty content creator camera because it does everything I need. Anyway, so that, as far as consultant, you fix what they need. And if you don't know, I know so many people I call, like somebody had a Dante question. I know what Dante is. I can say in the conversation, I know you plug it in, check the cables, which is 75% times the problem, reboot the switch, and that's worked every time. Those two things.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like a big part of your secret to success, though, is probably building relationships so that people trust you, and then being able to prove yourself in this, the tech well enough that you can solve the problems. But a lot of it sounds like relationship building and getting to know people, and being able to deliver for them so that they do trust you and want to hire you. Am I wrong?
There's two things. The one thing they taught you in school was totally wrong. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Okay? It's totally about who you know.
Okay.
Second thing is keep it, the KISS acronym, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's just use those two things, and I just have an ability to look at things and I see the answers. I don't know what it is. I call it a God's gift, but I mean, there is talent there's training, but I have no formal education in any of this stuff besides the tech, the IT stuff. I mean, I do have a degree in a minor in computer science. Now, understand, back then, computer science was punch cards.
That's okay. That was the same with my dad. And the thing is that the concepts carry forward. Like the technology changes, yes, but it's still digital. I mean, it's like it's ones and zeros at some point, right?
It just gets more it's smaller.
Smaller, yeah, more compact. In some cases, more. It feels like at this point, too, there's so many layers. You know what I mean? Like there's a processor that only understands its own machine code. And even back in the days, you had probably an assembler that you could actually use to write code. And then they make these other higher level languages where you can actually write words to tell the computer what to do. And then now it's like with the internet and the way apps are built today and all the frameworks and libraries and all this stuff there's so much going on. It's a lot of layers is the way I look at it.
One of my
and one of the secrets I think is keep your setup. That's why the KISS principle is so important, is that especially if you're doing it live, the more complex your setup, the harder it is to troubleshoot, and the more things can go wrong. Right?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Nobody can do it all. You've outsourced something.
Right.
So what's the things that you're not good at? I mean, you're married. I'm sure your wife's involved in probably the accounting. That's generally where they take over. But
she is.
How does learn light and sound.com? Is that right?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yep. She does the accounting. She does the live stream. She manages the chat. Does the switching on the switcher here.
That's scary to me. My wife can't even turn on her iPhone.
Well, I mean, it's so on the bright side. I mean, there are only so many buttons. Like it's like, okay, here's how Danny's smart. Danny is really she's way smarter than I am. We can say that here. She is way smarter than I am. She needs a once over and she's got it. She's like, okay, I got it. I got this.
Oh, that's nice.
So there's that. And then Emma is our producer for the main channel. So because I have a full-time day job, Emma now does a lot of the stuff that I used to do in my free time, which I don't have as much free time anymore because my current job is more demanding and more time-consuming. So Emma does a lot of the producing. I still do, like if I'm doing a product review, I'll still do the testing and the, I'm the one that forms the opinion, but she does a lot of the footwork. So when it comes to filming the B-roll now, she does all that. When it comes to the edit, she does the edit. She does the audio post processing. So just a lot of the things that I just unfortunately don't have time for. And none of those things are things that I don't like doing. They're just things I don't have time for at this point.
You've got it set up. You've got an heir apparent.
Well, the problem is YouTube is changing as well. It's harder to make as much money on YouTube today than it was, for me at least, 5 years ago or 6 years ago. It spiked during the early parts of COVID, and then since then it's been a steady decline. And I think there's just a lot more competition. There's so many people that have really amazing YouTube channels now. I just find that my content isn't surfaced as much, which is fine. I'm not over here crying. I'm just kind of making an observation. And again, if I were focused on it 100% full time, that would probably be different. I'd be able to pour more into it and optimize more and figure out how to grow the channel faster. But that's not really the goal for me. The goal for me is to help, with YouTube, it's to help people make better sound and better lighting. And then if people watch those tutorials or watch those videos and they find them helpful, then I have these online courses that I have for sale. You're welcome to, this is my thinking. If you want to support me and this is something of value to you, then here's some courses that we have online. So it's a hobby, honestly. That part of my life is a hobby. And that's why I'm glad you're starting a live stream channel, because I think you have several decades of experience, at least a couple decades of sound experience that you can share with people. Well, it started well before that, but I think that's good.
I just don't like editing. I mean, to be quite honest, this was the solution to a problem that didn't exist in a sense. I had these ideas. I have 1,000 ideas. I mean, trust me, if I had Elon Musk money, I'd be in trouble because I would start 100 different companies. But I was hired by Steve Jobs personally to become the first Apple certified systems engineer for Apple that was a consultant, not an employee.
Okay. And then they hired about 20 more people, and then he decided no, and he brought those in-house. I just didn't join the in-house group. But he let me keep the title and the benefits, and I didn't care anything about the title, but the benefits are great. You get a free Apple product every time it's released. Oh, that's pretty nice.
Yeah. And
does that stand to today? You still get that?
Not anymore. Those went away shortly after he passed away, I think.
Okay.
But I knew Woz and that kind of stuff, but the ability to again see a problem, fix a problem, that's how I'm wired. As the technical director of a big printing company, it's the same thing. I traveled all the time. Thank heavens it was pre 9/11, so you didn't have to go through all this huge process. You could show up 10 minutes before the flight was taking off and still make the flight.
Yeah.
But, if you could do this full time, would you?
I think I would. The thing is I would need, Danny needs to, feel the confidence that we have a regular paycheck coming in, and just like quitting my day job, and because it pays pretty well. So it's hard to just walk away from that. It's a tricky thing with
I get it.
With the online courses are, they're priced pretty, they're priced really low. They're not,
they're great.
I don't know. It's $49 to learn how to use your Mix Pre inside and out.
It's a no-brainer decision, let me tell you.
So it's not like I'm not tripping over piles of cash here from selling the courses. That's for sure. But again, it's more of a hobby. It's more of it's a way for me to give back, and it's a way for me to really enjoy. I mean, I love the live streams. Every week is just so much fun to have a community that comes together and learns together, and I think we all get better together. And my live streams are scrappy. They're not great. They got, I've made all sorts of mistakes. I've made most of the mistakes you can possibly make. So hopefully I've learned from those. But there we go from Linda. It's good to see you here, Linda. CJ courses and community have been tremendously helpful, even when some of the concepts are beyond my level. Some stuff that makes me really happy.
Yeah, I don't have the silver bullet, but I could see you doing this full time and being really helpful to a lot of people. So, but again, it's pricing. Yours is fair, I think. You're right. It's probably a little bit on the low side, but the worst is the high side. I mean, I have other friends that, luckily I don't need their courses, but $250 for the basic intro to Final Cut, or, I mean, I like Aaron Parecki's live stream a lot, but I don't buy his, and he's got great his mounts for ATEMs and stuff are great, but I think they're about double what they need to be. So you wait till the Black Friday sale, then you buy them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what his cost basis is or what. I think does he still work for Okta? Last I heard, I think he worked for a company called Okta. Okay. So he still does. Okay.
Yeah. His whole, but the equipment he has in that little office of his is just crazy. And the fact that he can run it all. I mean, my head hurts when he's pulling up again, digital mixers, on a screen just don't go with me, but he's got a full channel mixer that he pulls up, Jenks adjustment. He had to go into HTML the other day and fix the code. I mean, IP addresses to, NDI servers and stuff. It's, and he does it like I'm doing live, but I'm barely can get the switching right. So he's got a talent set way beyond me. And that's good. It's a very, he really does help people do live streaming. I wouldn't be here without knowing about the Yolobox this way, because I would have never spent this I didn't spend the money anyway. My son gave it to me as a Christmas present because
nice.
My kids finally learned that they shouldn't just buy a present for me, just ask and I'll tell them something generally. But, and my youngest son is very entrepreneur. He's what, 20? God, I'm old. My youngest son is, I think, 27. Just had his second child, our seventh grandchild. So anyway, but he's got a company that's doing well. He drives a McLaren. That should say something.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Tell him not to do an Elon Musk with that thing. Didn't Elon Musk buy a McLaren and then crashed it within a short period of time?
Yeah.
Literally totaled it within.
Yeah, he's not the Elon Musk status yet, trust me.
Okay.
But he wants to be. He's because my customers all had private jets. I got to fly on private jets. So he's always asking me about what's the best private jet, and I'm going, it's not the cost of the jet, it's the cost of the usage. I mean, you got to keep a staff of, you basically got to have $1 million for not flying at all. The rest is gas. It's $7 a gallon. And I said a baby Gulfstream drinks 300 gallons an hour at $7 a gallon.
Okay, let's do that. Just getting the calculator here. So 307. So $2,100 per hour. So if you're flying transcon, so it's a 4-hour times 4. So just in fuel, that's $8,400. Then you have to pay a pilot and a co-pilot, right? For the
most of them have a flight attendant or two.
Okay.
Hey, you don't want to be stuck in a 280 from Florida to California or California to New York. You don't. They're 5 foot.
Yeah.
They're a joking 280s. I guess about 6'2". When you're 6'3", that's a problem, but that's just the way it is. everybody else is short in my world, but you're not. You're taller than me. You're 6'6", right?
Yeah. 6'6" or 6'7". I don't know. I may have shrunk. I might be 6'6" now. I'm not sure. As you get older,
I wish I'd have known you when
compressed.
I was just married because I was in a volleyball team, and so you would have been really good.
I could. Well, the thing is I've never been able to jump very well. I could barely dunk the basketball, which for a 6'7" doesn't make sense because that was the same height that Michael Jordan was, and he could do all sorts of magic. Maybe I just didn't practice jumping enough. I didn't jump enough. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
I wasn't good at
was
that.
too
I didn't
busy
get all my height until college, so I mean, I have this. I never think of myself as tall because I graduated high school. I was 5'7".
Late bloomer,
And then
huh?
in college, I was a football manager for the offensive line. So I'm skinny and 6'3", but I'm tiny compared to these guys.
Yeah.
What's
yeah.
really crazy when you get to that level, I mean, Texas Tech, where I went, was, a serious college. We had a defensive nose tackle, the defensive nose tackle. He was a blue chip scholar. They were really proud to get him. He could run a 40-yard dash in 4.7.
Wow. That's
I
pretty
can't run a 40-yard dash
yeah.
ever in 4.7 in no part of my life. And I'm like, he's 330 pounds.
That's amazing. Wow. Wow.
I was the quarterback during offense-defense drills because they didn't want to risk a quarterback. I had no pads on. So
that's. I'm glad you're still alive. I'm just glad you're still with us, man.
no, I bribed him really good. I said his name was Gabe. Gabriel Rivera. He got hurt. Sad story. But anyway, I told Gabe, when you get to me, just pick me up, and when you get slowed down, just put me down, and he did. So that was good. Because he's a monster going through that. Anyway, I got flattened a few times by my own offensive line when they were pulling. I couldn't move out of their way fast enough. Such is life.
Yeah.
Well, I have some trick questions for you. They're not really trick, but they're. What's your favorite shotgun mic? Cost not an option. Outdoors.
Well, I don't know if it's a. Yeah. I think probably the DPA 4017B is probably it. It's not. It's the one I use primarily. It's significantly smaller and lighter than the Sennheiser MKH 416. Really kind of neutral, pretty balanced sound to it. Yeah, it's a good one. I like it.
I think I know the answer to this, but favorite lav mic on a body pack?
I don't like lav mics.
I know, but you got to pick one.
Oh, probably the Shure Twinplex TL48.
Yeah, that's what I was going to guess because it's my favorite.
Yeah.
Favorite overall mic, regardless of price, that you get only two mics to choose from. That's got to be one of your mics to do an entire, just say, band, 4 or 5 piece band.
Oh, for a band. Okay. Recording or live?
Live.
Oh, okay. Well, Shure SM58.
Okay. Are they best? The two. What you get 2 mics. Which two?
I get 2 mics. Okay. And then the Shure SM57.
7. Yeah, that's what I'd pick too, because that's what they all use. I mean,
yeah, I mean,
in
there are a lot of
studio
newer
they
ones
use
these days.
nicer mics. Okay, they use a Newman, they use a Sennheiser, Earthworks. They use those in studio. They rarely use them on the road. They'll use the Earthworks has a capsule for the wireless units you can put on, and I know some that do that, but I can't tell you that. The SM58, the FM57. I always carried 4 of those, 256, 250. because in the crunch they'll work.
They'll work. You know what you're going to get, and they're going to hold up in live situations. They're going to hold up. People, how many times did a boom stand with a SM58 tip over and land right on the mic grill? How many times has that happened to you? More than you can count, probably.
Yeah.
Did the SM58 work every single time after that happened?
Do you ever watch the old Top Gears?
I have, yes. Yes.
Do you remember the time when they took the Toyota Hiatus, the truck, and they drowned it? They hit it with a wrecking ball. They put it on top of a building imploding, and the thing still ran?
Yeah.
That's the 57 58s. We dropped one from the top of an arena. Like they were up in the light area, and the guy had it in his back pocket, and it fell off. We yelled, incoming. They moved out of the way, hit the ground. We plugged it in. It worked just fine.
Yeah, that's the thing with it. The dynamic mics like that are they're a really simple, straightforward, effective design that hold up. They just can take a beating and keep going.
Yeah,
So, but now if you had a question about what I would choose in my studio, that would be a different answer.
Go on.
Well, for vocals, I would probably choose the JZ Microphones V11, the vintage styled microphone. Yeah, it's a specialty thing, but I
got one for you. What's the prettiest mic? I know what my answer is.
Prettiest mic. Oh, wow. I don't. Good question.
That Shure mic is mine. I can't. The one that the icon is just the Shure uses.
Oh, the
50. What's that thing?
What is it called? Like the classic design, right? The Elvis mic. Yeah. The Unidyne.
It's the one with the grill. It's blue. They released it in blue. That looks really nice.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, Linda's got a question.
The JZ microphones. The JZ V11 is a very pretty mic too. It looks like. Danny says it looks like a deodorant stick. But it's a looker. It definitely has a look. Oh.
Let me ask Linda's question. I'll do them whenever I can. I plan to follow Curtis Judd because we never have enough time because Danny's a timekeeper, and we're just going to pick up and continue without him. And if I have a question, I'll email him and he can give me the answer later.
Deal. Sounds good.
What's one mic you wish you could have that you don't have? There's the answer. It's the 55S. The one.
Yeah, 55S. Very good. Thank you, Audio Buff. You know what? I don't know that I have any microphone that I am just so I'm green with envy for. I just don't.
Really? Okay, that's shocking.
Got a lot of mics. I've got so many microphones here, Matt. I have a beautiful
Remember when I sold my mics, it was 6 figures. Okay, so I know all about having a lot of mics. I had a complete set of Earthworks. Every mic they had, and doubles and some.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've got a Neumann U87. I've got an Earthworks SV30. I think it's an SV33. They don't even make that one anymore, by the way. Great vocal mic. I don't know. There's nothing that I have on my list that I need.
The Lewitt, what's the one that plugs into the box? It's like a $1,400 mic.
Oh yeah, the 1080 or something. I can't remember what it's called.
I was trying to look up the link while we were talking. Here we go. I found it. That's not here. But I want to try one of those mics. I got to play with
it's the
one.
1040.
Yeah,
The
that's
1040.
it. It's about
Actually, the
$1,500.
$3,500 mic. No,
Oh
no,
yeah, I'm missing by a
3,500.
few grand. Counting error. Sorry about that, wife. Hey, Danny, I'm writing a check for $1,500 mic. Comes in $3,500. You missed it a little bit there, Curtis.
Fortunately, any microphone purchases come out of the business, not our personal funds. That's something that's very important for people to understand. If at some point, if you start to do this professionally, get a business entity set up and get a separate account for the business so that you can, it makes it so much easier and it makes it a lot less stressful for your family as well. So then you just, when it's time to buy a Lewitt LCT 1040 for $3,500, it's on, I mean, you just write it out of the business account and say, this makes sense. We need this microphone for blah, blah, blah. So we're going to buy it. So
I should have did that when I sold all my other mics because the income was so bigger than the outgoing. She would have never noticed, but I forgot to do it. I bought a few things that way, but I didn't get that one. And I kind of drool over it. I know that's weird, but you know, audio guys.
Yeah. Audio guys, you can't explain it.
I mean, I don't
just
mix mixers really. I mean, like I have the Procaster 2, and it does the job. I'd rather have the Mackie, but the Mackie didn't exist, and I got 2 years out of this, and I don't think I can sell it and get a new one for the same price. So I'm still using it. Works.
Yeah.
And the preamps are
Doing
good.
the job.
The headphone amps are not, but I don't like wearing headphones most of the time anyway. So
I see that.
no, it's the delay.
I know. It's the late. It's the latency.
I can't talk.
Yeah, I get it.
It messes me up so much when I try to talk.
Is there any way on the Yolo Live Ultra to make it so that you don't hear yourself, you just hear your guests?
No.
Ooh, that'd be a really nice feature for them to add.
Yeah, I'll add that to the list. They've got a whole list. I mean, they're on version 1.7. The Pro, which is not the original one, but it's the one that's the most successful, is on version 3.
Okay.
So they've got a ways to go. But some of the things you can do on here are really amazing. I mean, the ability to do certain things.
It's a computer. It's a purpose-built computer that has, you know, all the inputs that you need, and they can, I mean, they're making their own operating system. They can do whatever you need it to do. It's pretty cool.
Have you seen those new ATEM computers? There's 2 or 3 of them out now. I don't remember their names. The one that Aaron talked about today, it's called the I call it the Sputnik because it looks like they just mistyped the old Russian satellite, but it's got, you know, one of those AI invented names, you know, the something G2, you know, Mark IV, you know, naming conventions these days.
No, I haven't. Is it Black Magic that makes it, or is it somebody else?
No, it's a competitor. It's got a built-in screen. It's 4
Okay. Oh.
It was his live stream today, so you can take a glance at it.
I'll go back and check it out.
But it's not bad. I think the other one's better, but that's just personal. I mean, I have an ATEM. I just have a 4-channel, and I'm actually using 5 channels here. So I've got camera 1 is the main camera. I do have an overhead camera if I do this shot.
Oh, yeah? Mm-hmm.
Okay, yep. Camera 3 is what? The iPad.
Okay. Yep.
Number 4 is the phone, and then number 5 is the Pocket 3 into a USB slot.
Okay.
Which is this slot. That side of it.
Yeah. Cool.
But
you got
I love
everything
the Pocket
you need
3.
in that little box.
I mean, I really like that camera a lot. So
It's which one is it specifically?
the DJI Pocket 3.
Oh, that one. Okay, got it. Yeah.
Little bitty, you know, gimbal camera.
Little vloggy camera. Yeah.
but it's got a bigger screen now. It does 4K, does both horizontal and vertical video, and it has, of course, tracking, which is, to me, it's great for that. And because it's USB, it's on my webcam now. That's all I use for webcam.
Got it. What is, if somebody, when you're training a new person, say you're going to do a live, you're doing a house of worship, you know, you're the mixer. What are the things you have an intern or somebody who's just starting off? What do you start them with?
Honestly, the first thing, if you're going to wrap cables, you're going to do it right, or you're not going to be in my team. The only time I get upset is when I take a cable and throw it and it becomes a knot. I mean, I really get upset. That's my pet peeve of all pet peeves. Past that, it's just running cables, learning how to plug them in, learning how to position them. I mean, in churches, it's not so much because you generally set it up and you forget about it. So then we work on the mixer, how to run the mixer. And what I teach them is not to work with any of the EQ stuff at first, simply the faders. Because it's already set up generally. I mean, the same pastor preaches most of the time. His mic is already EQ'd to what I want it to be, and as the lead sound engineer, it's my way or the highway kind of mindset. Sorry, but that's kind of how I operate. And so I don't want you changing those things. I just want you raising the fader up and raising it down. But getting used to that, being able to, I'm probably like audio buff in the sense that I ride multiple faders all the time. We didn't have groups until the longest time. And I learned how to use them and they're handy, but riding 4 or 5 faders at the same time with your hands. What's really great is when we have like plays or something. Okay. So generally speaking, you won't know more than 2 or 3 lavs hot at the same time. So learning to watch we generally have a script rolling on a teleprompter, and he can see they're labeled right. He can see how to fade. That's where you learn if you got it or not, to be quite honest. Because some people just freak out with that. They just freeze. I had one kid who was really promising, and he could not. He just froze. I had to take over.
Wow, that's really instructive, and I think I know you just rolled that just rolled off your tongue like everybody knows this, but the reality is not everybody knows this. And what I'm talking about is even just the part about, when you're doing a musical or a play, you don't want to have more than 3 mics live at the same time, because you're just gonna, the chances of feedback are so much higher. The bleed is a mess. It gets really messy quickly. Well, actually, Emma can wrap cables like a woman, so I don't know what this man part is, but Emma's got it.
I think Emma's got a lot. I mean, she's feisty too, which is not your side. Is that Danny's side? Because we rarely see Danny.
There's some feist off camera, I suppose. A little bit for me. Danny's got a little. She's not. I don't know. It's more of an Emma thing. Emma's her own person.
Okay, 2 kids, right? You have another daughter?
No, just one.
Just one.
Just Emma. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you figured it out so soon. I mean, we had 3 kids in Texas, and then we moved to Arkansas, and we had another one. We found out it wasn't Texas water, so.
You learn your lessons. Everybody learns their lessons a little differently.
But I bet you Emma wasn't spoiled as bad as my girl was, because my girl was the first girl in our family in 65 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, we had, no. In fact, on the Judd side, me and my siblings, gosh, it was all daughters for a while. It was a while before we got a boy out of me and my siblings. So
Okay,
yeah, I can
Linda
only
asked a
imagine
good
how
question
spoiled.
that I want to
Oh,
twist.
yeah.
What's the worst purchase decision you've made?
Oh, um, oof. It's probably.
C200.
I think camera. It was yeah, C200. It was a C200. Yes, that was the worst. It was a. I mean, I don't know if who would have known that there was a global pandemic coming. I don't know, but it ended up being it's now a webcam.
Very nice
It was
webcam.
a yeah, sort of. I mean, it does the autofocus is good, so that's good.
You have a C70, right?
But yeah, that's my primary camera for the YouTube videos. The not the live stream, but the produced videos. The on
Does the
demand
mini
videos.
mini XLR bug you? Or do you just get used to it?
I don't run the audio into the camera.
Ah,
And 90% of the time, 99% of the time, I'm just running it into a mix pre and we sync in post. I mean, it's a super simple work. I mean, if I had to turn around really quickly, then yeah, I'd run audio to camera, but we're not doing that.
I'm lazy. I run it into the FX3, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, it's got pretty good preamps too, though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Does the
And you're
C70?
mainly yeah, they're good. They're clean. Converters seem fine. They're not, nobody's gonna win a technical award at Canon for their preamps, but they're not, they're pretty good. Good for a camera. And that's the thing that I think the Sony cinema cameras and the FX series and the Canon cinema series, they're actually kind of more of I see them more of a hybrid. You're not going to see, they're not making Hollywood films on these cameras. Let's be honest. These cameras are workhorses.
FX3
Okay, they're
has
probably
made some.
a couple of films, but I mean, most of the films are Arri Alexa, of some variant. But I think these are workhorses, like the Sony FX cameras and the Canon cinema cameras. They're workhorses. You can use them for almost anything. I'm using them as a webcam, for heaven's sake. But I think you're going to see them in live events. You're going to see them on commercial shoots. You're going to see them. Yeah, it's an expensive. It is an expensive webcam for sure. But what I'm saying is you can use them for so many, like corporate video, the FX line and the Canon cinema line. They're just great cameras for that. They're just really practical.
If I had to do it over again, I wouldn't buy the FX3. I'd buy two FX30s. To me, it's the best value cinema camera, though it's low end, and it's not full frame. I think full frame's hugely overblown. I mean,
Yeah.
for the most part, stuff you see in the cinema was shot on Super 35.
Yep.
So,
Well, that's changing now, but I think
Right,
up until
but
just a few
just
years
now.
ago, that definitely was true. Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
I have a pair of Fujinon MK Super 35 lenses, fully manual. So
Ooh.
that's what
With
the FX3 and the FX30. We have both, one's what was it, 25 to 55, and then 50 to one. Anyway, they're the two sizes, and one's on one camera, one's on the other. We generally put the FX3 in APC mode if we need more reach.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, they're practical, very practical. And
The
the
other thing,
FX30, yeah, I
Sony
agree.
can't produce an LCD worth crud. That's I have other words I'd use, but I'd have to play the beat button.
Yeah, I think the Canons get a lot of flack because they just feel old. Like they don't. The Canon C70 came out in the end of 2020. That's their most recent. Well, maybe they have. Do they have any newer ones since then? I don't know if they do. I haven't even kept up on it, but I feel like a lot of people kind of think, oh, definitely go Sony because Sony's always coming out with new cameras and new
Sony's
lenses.
got too many
that,
cameras.
yeah, I would arguably too many, but Canon, I do appreciate Canon cameras. Why are we talking about cameras? This is a dangerous thing for sounding.
This is that's me. I can talk about IT. I can talk about cameras. I'll talk about the only thing I'm weak at, though I'm much better now, is lighting.
Okay.
And your channel, even though it's lighting, it's probably only 20% lighting.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's mostly sound for sure.
My advice for lighting is this: when I was like a kid, I did a talk at a school, and it was a after hours deal, so we had actually more people than a regular classroom show up for it. Do you want to be a content creator? Matt's here to answer your questions, and they had some good questions, and I said, well, they go, what do you use for your sound? I go, well, it's a $1,200 mic, so it's probably out of your reach, but it's great. Cameras, I said, are cheap generally. I'm using, I brought the CV1. I said, this is all you need to start with. Actually, your phone's all you need to start with these days, especially with Blackmagic's app. You can adjust it. You don't need to buy a camera. It's got every control ever known to exist in the camera right there in the Blackmagic app, and it's free. I mean, so you have a good iPhone.
Yep.
But lighting, I tell them, go view all the YouTubers. Find somebody's lighting setup you like, and then just copy it. And they'll tell you, for the most part, what they're using. And you can generally buy lesser than what I mean, I don't have any of my big lights because of that. I don't have room for them here. I mean, I have a 300X. I have the Nova. I have two Novas, but I don't have any of them. I'm using the Aperture MC Pros and the iFootage little bitty lights. These little suckers.
Yeah.
$39 a pop.
Cubes.
They only get a 1-star review on Amazon too, which is, but so be it.
If it's doing your job, if it's doing the job, and you're happy with it, then it's good.
Well, I'm not looking for a cinematic view. I tell you that real quick. Right. There's two views. So many people are looking for a cinematic view. They want a nice blurred background. I don't want that for what I'm doing. I'm a talk show at best, and I want pretty much everything to be in focus. So I don't care about all those things. But if you want to be a cinematographer, now we're talking lighting, and lighting's the most important thing in cinematography. That and placement of lights. It's all about the lights and the placement of lights. It's a tricky business. But you can find that out. I mean, Stallman has some videos on that, and you have some videos on that, and there's others. Again, it's all up there for free if you just can find it.
Yep.
But that's kind of one of the reasons I brought the channel. I hope to bring, I suppose, these kids to some of these places to get the training, because you don't need to go to college anymore for a lot of things. You still need to go to college to be a doctor, an engineer, those type of things. But anybody, every entrepreneur, and I've met, some of the biggest, none of them say go to college anymore, other than go take a few courses in accounting and maybe a legal course that's an overview. So you're with your lawyers, to be honest with you or not. I have a saying about lawyers, which I generally don't like. They're professional liars, because in every courtroom there's two lawyers on both sides, and somebody's lying all the time.
Somebody's not telling the truth. No.
Okay, anyway, last question, because I'm sure you got to get on. How long do you think you'll be able to keep doing this? You're younger than me. I'm 64, and you're still in your 50s.
Yeah. I hope I do it until the day I die. I hope I am able to do something along these lines.
Because you enjoy it.
I don't want to. I enjoy it. Yeah, because I really like it. Really enjoy it. I'd say there was a a whole rash of YouTubers kind of thrown in the towel recently, and I understand it's really hard to do it, um, especially in 2024. If you really want to be successful and have a lot of subscribers, it takes a lot of effort. It's not easy, but to me, it's not so much about, you know, getting millions of subscribers. It's more about providing value to people and being part of a community that helps each other out, and we just get better together. That's where I'm at with it.
Well, that's great because you're the best audio guy. I mean, you're the guy I send everybody to for audio. So anybody that shows up, buys a course, I hope, because I tell them, listen, at some point in time, he's maybe going to figure out this courses are too cheap. He's going to raise the price a little bit. But
yeah. Maybe I'm going to finish this live stream and then go eat a taco and then go raise the prices on all my courses.
5 channels of wireless and wireless.
Yeah,
IFB.
RF takes a little bit of work. It's not. I think a lot of people come from the world of, I have a cell phone and it works, and how hard can wireless be? It's a little bit more complicated than that.
See,
but that's actually
in the church world,
and an IFB. That's not bad.
In the church world, you have to live with wireless. Every pastor has a wireless.
Yeah.
And so
and it's the same in film. I mean, in most video production, it's, unless you're in a studio, you probably have wireless.
Though I have to admit, when I found the Trackees, if you don't need the sound right away, those things are flawless.
They're pretty good. Yeah, I like them.
Because they have enough power to drive a nicer mic.
Yeah.
Which is scary because the labs we're putting on it are more expensive than the boxes recording it. But anyway, well, thanks for coming, Curtis. I'll be
pleasure is mine.
Still a regular attender at your place because I like helping.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to learn a lot from you and your guests. Thank you.
But anyway, I don't have an outro either. I do have to pick up one thing. I have something. I think I put that up. So the website is very simple. I can code the HTML myself, and I can change it really quick, and it's very simple, and I like simple. So that's why the website's the way it is. Please join the Facebook group. It's closed, so both Mark's helping me out, but either one of us can approve anybody coming in and ask a question. We'll give you an answer. But again, I'll keep doing these as long as somebody wants to come. Anyway, that's about it. I do have my closing. I mean, I like my live stream layout with the funny guys, but I also have there's that one. If you want to go, and I push the wrong button. No, that's wrong too. There's a button up here I want to press. See, there we go. There's contact information. I have a phone number. Don't mind people calling me. It's not my regular phone number. It's a phone left over from a client, and it may say something like Vorthos Podcast that went out of business, but I still have the phone and it's free on my carrier, so I just leave it active. So anyway, hope it was valuable to people. Let me know at the next time you see me on a stream whether it's any good, and I'll keep doing them. If not, then I'll figure out something else to do maybe. But anyway, that's about it. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Thanks for coming.